Hey everyone! Salutations everyone! Greetings from the humble abode. Thank you for tuning in, and if you're new, welcome to Historical Hearsay. On here, we dish out the juiciest generational gossip. Today we have some downright petulant politicians for your morning feed. Make sure to insert your reactions into the live feed, and we'll be sharing some of our best responses. Our first guest is none other than Henry Clay, known as the Great Compromiser, the man, the myth, and the icon of the Whigs. Now grab your tea because it's about to get piping hot. Mr. Clay, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here tonight.
For those of you uninformed viewers, the Compromise of 1850 intended to reduce sectional tensions caused by slavery between the North and the South. As a member of the dying Whig Party and prominent politician in the North, what do you have to say about this?
Well, the situation was tricky, and all I ever wanted to do was unite the people and keep the Union very strong. See, I'm for the common folk. You already know I preach for a free Cali state and for Utah and New Mexico to remain slaveless. And you know I'm all for the Fugitive Slave Act. Duh.
This just in, guys. We have a tweet saying, Henry Clay is an ignorant loser. All he did was delay the inevitable. And who else noticed he never even addressed the root causes of the controversies? At Henry Clay supporters, fight me. This tweet comes from at BelleGrace1821. What do you have to say about this?
I hate to agree with this jealous brat, but it is true that the compromise didn't fully end the conflict of slavery. However, I wanted to take a moment and respond and say, yes, it did in fact help, even to the smallest extent, provided a temporary relief for the tensions growing. Didn't see that one coming, did you? Slavery is a huge...
Wow, some humor from
Mr.
issue.
Slavery is a huge... Those of you who don't think it is a huge issue, and abolishing it completely would take way too long. We don't have time for that. It's just a start. You know, it's a seed. The seed was planted. If at BelleGrace1821 did her research, she would have figured it out by now.
Ooh.
I believed in preserving the Union, and compromise was essential to prevent the outbreak of civil war at that time. It brought time for future generations to grapple with the deeper issues surrounding slavery.
All in all, do you think the Compromise of 1850 was a win in maintaining peace, or did it just delay the conflict?
Yeah, so history has shown us that the compromise, it was not a permanent solution. The tensions between the North and South persisted, and they led to the Civil War, which we all know now, in the following decade. And while the compromise did have its limitations, I still believed it was a necessary step to avoid immediate conflict and give the nation a chance to address the deeper issues over time. I owe a paramount allegiance to the whole Union, a subordinate one to my own state.
Thank you, Mr. Clay, but we do have one more surprise for you and the viewers today. Y'all bring him out after the break.
When I realized I had created the most influential book of the era, I dropped my pen and began to cry. As I wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin, my goal was not to tell a story. My goal was to reveal the struggles and humanity of those chained by slavery. 1852 was among the most significant years, and when my literary masterpiece came out, I knew it was what the nation needed during an age of division caused by the very premise of my book. My novel skyrocketed on Twitter's trending within hours. My words were bringing change and challenging societal acceptance for slavery. As I watched my book's impact grow, I was also witnessing a nation confronting its moral conscience and nearing a great division. Of course, my book brought controversy from slave owners, and they found it amusing to write articles on my work. And what I have to say to other women working to save humanity like me is to never give up, for that is the place and time that the tide will turn. So I ask of you to join me in my journey to help save our union's morality and purchase my book, Uncle Tom's Cabin, and help inspire the change our union needs.
For those of you who may not know, John Calhoun is a prolific South Carolina senator who has big opinions on this so-called compromise. Do you want to tell us a little more about that, sir?
Yes, ma'am. It's almost laughable, honestly. It's titled Compromise, while the North undoubtedly holds more power compared to the Southern counterparts, us. At all events, the responsibility of saving the Union rests on the North, and not on the South. And so, if who represent the stronger portion cannot agree to settle them on the broad principle of justice and duty, say so, and let the states we both represent agree to separate and part in peace.
Oh, wow! Like states seceding from the Union entirely?
If it comes to maintaining individual state rights, then I don't see a problem with it.
Interesting. Clay, any interjections?
Yeah, I'd like to say something. The compromise, it is equal, it is fair, and it should be titled a compromise.
Henry, use your critical thinking skills. The compromise undermines the delicate balance between slave and free states. The South will not be able to handle radical changes such as the Fugitive Slave Act. It attacks our rights.
John, honey, the Fugitive Slave Act ensures the return of escaped slaves, promoting the North. Unity. Without it, the Union is at risk of falling apart.
Unity at the expense of Southern principles? You're funny. The compromise favors the North. Nullification might be the only way to protect our rights.
Nullification threatens the Union. Where has your logic gone?
I think it's time for a break. We need to chillax.
In the land of democracy, I stand for the people, all people. We can overcome any challenge, big or small, and drive our union to the roads of success and rivers of prosperity. In the midst of division among our nation, I am a representation of common ground, a man for all men. I am the man who can preserve this union. I met with hundreds of men across our nation. All I did was listen. I worked to understand the hopes and concerns of everyone. With me, we will represent each and every voice, from the busiest of cities to the largest of plantations. I advocated for popular sovereignty, and I believe that states can decide their own destinies, a principle I have stood by since the beginning of my career. Under my leadership, our nation will flourish. We will be working towards prosperity, progress, and most importantly, harmony among all. For every man must be for the United States or against it. There can be no neutrals in this war, only patriots and traitors. So I ask of you, join me in shaping a future where every man is different and strong. Vote Stephen Douglas, the only leader who can unite all under the American dream.
Welcome back. And for those of you who are just joining us now, we have the most influential political figures of the mid-1800s joining. We are in the midst of a heated political debate regarding the Compromise of 1850. John, take it away.
I hope you just understand where I'm coming from, Henry. The South won't accept compromises that threaten our values.
John, I understand your concerns. I really do. I hope you know that. I do understand them. But we cannot afford the division of our union. How about we don't repeat old mistakes? The Compromise of 1850 is a path to strengthening and protecting our union while avoiding sacrifices on both sides.
What I'm scared of, Henry, is that these compromises only delay what is going to happen eventually. The issues at hand are much more complex. We are risking our beloved country.
Let me close this conversation as we are running out of time. Thank you both for joining us today. Make sure to tune into next week's episode. We're going to have Beethoven's nephew, Carl, giving us all the juiciest gossip on the music legend. Can I just have a round of applause for our guest, please? Thank you guys so much. Thank you.